Hey everybody, Steve Basic Architect here, Build Show Network. We're out at the Proper Modern Home. We got weather resistive barriers on tap for you today, and the weather resistive barrier of choice for today is SIGA MyVest 500 SA, self-adhesive. Guess what you got to do when you have a self-adhesive weather resistive barrier? Yes, you have to press it. How nice of SIGA to provide the instructions printed right on the material as a reminder. But you can see this stuff, it adheres literally to the plywood. It goes up. It's a vapor open weather resistant barrier, so it sheds the water, but the wall has the ability to dry to the outside. We're going to put a beautiful rain screen on here, and then we're going to have our siding, so the rain screen is going to promote drying to the outside of the wall. We'll also have drying to the inside using the SIGA Myrex product. On the inside is the interior air barrier. We're using this as the exterior air barrier. We have the joints taped with SIGA's Wig Love tape there. Beautiful job. And, the framers here just did a fantastic job. Check out some of the earlier videos. Christy talked about, having the chats with them and talking about overcoming some of the thoughts behind pressing this down. But anyways, let's go back to the studio. We'll break out the wall section detail, and we'll talk about why this double wall is such a successful wall.
All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that little trip out to the job site, and hopefully in the future, the one takeaway there is anything that is self-adhesive, you have to run it through the wetting process. And that means you either need to roll the tape or press down on that self-adhesive weather-resistant barrier. But we're not going to just stop there with that tip. We got our good friend Big Red. We got details. Let's have at it. All right. So let's see, I put the detail here. Got our good friend Big Red. Get him out for some action. Give you a sense of orientation. Here's the double top plate of first floor walls. And then remember, this is a double wall assembly. So Passive House inspired. And the stud frame down there. 2x6 stud frame on the outside. And this is the bottom plate, the second floor wall. These two. And here is the subfloor, that second floor. And of course, the engineered floor joist in there, and then this is the band joist here. And the floor joist is coming into it, so it's perpendicular, or in the plane, sorry, of the drawing. That's the band joist. On the outside of this wall, remember we have 1/2 inch plywood sheathing right there, and the plywood sheathing runs down here all the way down, and we have an 11-inch wall here. That's out to out on the frame, so we have 9 inches, and then that leaves a 2-inch space for a thermally broken cavity. So really good wall. And then we have our rain screen, which in this case is just some 1x3s, 24 inches on center, wood furring. And then of course we have our hardy cement board, sits on the outboard side of that furring. Now, what we talked about on the job site there was actually the SIGA MyVest 500 SA, which stands for self-adhering or adhesive. Right. And that is placed on the face of the plywood. So that runs down here. And if there's one thing I can tell you, well, actually two things. One, if I have a place to write it, one, water kills, right? almost every video, and you guys probably getting sick of me saying that, but believe it or not, we still have building investigations galore where water kills. And 2, down and out. Give it a place to go. So 1x3, 24 inches on center, wood furring. Any water that gets into this system, any of it, has the ability to drain out through that 1x3, 24 inch on center wood furring. That's a 3/4 inch airspace. Right? And the beauty of that 3/4 inch airspace is not only is water allowed to drain out, but air is allowed to migrate up it. So not only do you get the down and out or the draining of that system, but we elevate what we call the drying potential. Right? By elevating that drying potential means that any water that gets in this system, water that's potentially trying to kill our wall, is either falling to gravity or it's going to get picked up by lesser moist air. And in that space, that moisture content is going to try and equalize, and that water is going to get on that airstream and increase the drying potential. Now, the job of the Sigma vest is basically to create a barrier there that does 2 things. One, it is our air barrier, but it's also our weather resistive barrier, or WRB, meaning that it gives a plane or a drainage plane to provide down and out. So basically, water management, it gives a managed route for the water to go. And the WRB stops that migration from further or more interior movement. So it stops that at that weather resistive barrier. Because of the pressure difference in that 3/4 inch airspace, that water is forced to drop down due to gravity, and we get a down and out situation, and we get to dry it out. So there's always that battle to stop the water and having it fall or dry. Now, the beauty of the Sigma vest is that should moisture make its way into the wall, it has the ability to migrate out through the Sigma vest. But we have Sigma Rex on the inside of the wall that also is limiting that moisture migration into the wall, but does allow for migration out of the wall. So basically, we're stopping moisture from moving into the wall, but if it is in the wall, we're giving it a path to get out and a path to get out. And as that water migrates out, we again have that 3/4 inch space, but it's not going to be in liquid form. It's going to be in a vapor format. So we increase our drying potential and we dry out the wall. So that's what makes for a really forgiving wall, that this wall can actually dry to either direction. Plywood here is the more restrictive material in this direction. In this direction is pretty much vapor open except for the Myrex there, smart vapor retarder. So, but the beauty of that SA self-adhesive is that not only is it the WRB, but it's an air barrier. And in this house here, we're seeking, somewhere where we are less than 0.60 ACH 50. So that's passive house measurements. And so we're trying to get down below that. But it's a very simple wall system. It's an all cellulose wall, 11 inches thick, 2 inches thermally broken, meaning that none of the framing inside touches the framing on the outside except for the subfloor and the edges of that engineered wood joist. But for the most part, the two walls are separated, which gives you a really good thermal value. The 11 inches yields an R42, 11 inches by 3.8 per inch. So that's a really good wall system. But more importantly is that the efficiency in this wall system is protected by the performance of this wall to drain and dry, inherently killing the idea of any water intrusion and the fact that water kills. So there you have it. Simple materials, simple wall system. Nothing in this wall system is magic. Nothing here is any different than what almost any builder across the country is doing. It's a wood framed wall, it's sheathed in plywood, and we have a weather resistant barrier on the outside when we have siding on some wood furring strips. All common materials, all common practices, all common execution. But all of that with a conscious effort elevates this wall to what I would consider a very high performing wall system or wall assembly. So there you have it. All right. So Big Red came and conquered. It's a very simple wall system. Very, very simple. Very easy to build. But just imagine if half the houses we built in America were built to that level. How many just millions of BTUs we would be saving over the next 50 or 100 years. Crazy, crazy. And it's really not a lot more. Anyways, that's it for here on weather resistant barriers. If you're looking for more, you can find Steve Basic Architect on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok. I'm on them all. Go check it out. Follow me, tag along, posting stuff daily. Go to the Build Show Network. Myself and all of the other contributors, I don't even know what number we're at. We seem to be adding a new one here every week or so, but there is literally thousands of videos to go watch on the Build Show Network. All kinds of stuff. Watch them 7 times to really get it to sink in. That's what the science says. I'm just going by the science here. And then if you're still looking for more, you can find me, my good friends Peter Yost and Jake Bruton, as we host the Unbuild It podcast. And we talk through all kinds of topics about building. So go check that out. Got a lot of exciting projects coming up, a lot of exciting details, a lot of great information coming your way. Build Show Build Boston series is kicking off literally as we speak. We filmed a bunch this morning. So anyways, a lot of great things happening, a lot of great information. We're here to share it with you. So until next time, long live our buildings.